Hi, and welcome back to Thone Psalms, Nibbles 2, Kings, Earthly and Heavenly. This comes from Psalms, the second Psalm, verses 1, 2, and 3. Why do the nations rage, and the people plot a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bonds in pieces and cast away their cords from us. And the real question that we're asking here is, why is there violence? So why is this in the Bible? The battle between earthly rulers and heavenly will. Earthly rulers that go along with heavenly will have a good reign or term in office or whatever it is that the particular ruler, how he got his job. But it's, that's the good earthly ruler, and then the heavenly will, though, will always win. What God wants is eventually what happens. What's the communications in this? It talks about plots against God's will. Application to my life. This psalm begins with two questions. Why do the nations rage? And why do people plot a vain thing? These two questions relate to the desires of kings and rulers worldwide. They wish to have total control, but realize that they do not have total control of the soul-related things of men of faith. Thus, they make plots against God's anointed Son, the Messiah. They accuse him of controlling the believers by the bonds of God's law. They agree to attempt to cut away those bonds. Thus we see wars and insurrections and plots against the good people. God says, these rulers are all under my authority, but fail to recognize it. And I think back to really Nebuchadnezzar, who was a king who was put into power by God in order to chasten the people of Israel. And he didn't recognize that. And the interesting part of the book of Daniel tells us that the way he was forced to recognize this was that he was made to be like a animal in the field, and for years had to eat grass and have big claws and all those things. And eventually he recognized it, and he declared that indeed the God of Daniel was the ultimate authority in such things. My personal response: Lord, let us never forget that you are the creator of all the world. Especially, break us of any silly thoughts of opposing your plan for our lives. And that's really sort of the bottom line here. Any plot against God is a foolish plan because, of course, he knows and he doesn't allow it. So that closes this one, and we'll see you next time.